Washing our hands is something most of us do on autopilot. Yet this everyday task presents a perfect opportunity to practice mindfulness. Okay, begin by running the faucet, hot or cold, whatever your preference, and wet the hands, feeling the sensation of the running water covering the skin, but also hearing the sounds of the water flowing from the tap. Now apply the soap, enough so that it will provide enough froth to generously cover both hands front and back, and rub your hands together, palm to palm in a slow, circular motion. Next, interlace the fingers, lathering the webbing between each finger and counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up to 10. And then use the right palm to rub the back of the left hand and fingers, and vice versa. Turning the hands over and over, tucking your knuckles inside the palms, almost in a rolling motion, and counting to 10. Okay, you're done. Now turn the tap back on, feeling the water and hearing the sounds once more as you rinse off the soap. Using a single towel, be it a cloth or paper, dry your hands, feeling the texture of the towel against the skin as you do so. Use that same towel to turn off the faucet, and remember, this is an exercise you can do each time you wash your hands. Simply rinse and repeat.
How can you get across to your students the importance of hand washing? Step 1, get yourself some glow germ powder. This is pretty readily available online. This is a tool that's used to show how to use good hand washing techniques to effectively get rid of all the dirt and germs that might be on your hands. As you can see, in the presence of a black light, the white powder will glow, it will fluoresce pretty easily. You can see some fingerprints actually on the countertop there. That's some of the glow gem powder that's been on some fingers, so you can see the fingerprints on the countertop. I'll open up the container and pour out some of the glow germ powder. You can see what it looks like. It's just white powder, but it will fluoresce in the presence of the black light. And as you can see, it glows pretty easily. Alright, step 2, get yourself some sort of object. Like I get a stuffed animal, and I like this guy because he'll say things electronically. And what I do is I apply some of the powder to the stuffed animal, and yeah, it becomes a little bit messy, but I just say, hey, there's just dust on it, instead of saying it's glow germ powder. And then what I do is I give it to the students, and they can pass around the object. They like hearing the bee talk when they pass around the classroom, so it's pretty easy to convince them to pass it around. Now, I didn't tell them what was on the bee or the stuffed animal until afterwards. I tell them, oh, there's some germs that were on there, and let's go inspect their hands. So I have them line up, and they inspect their hands underneath the black light, and you can see there's my hands, so you can see what it looks like when powder's on them. So then I have them go wash the powder off their hands as best as possible, and then they come back and inspect their hands underneath the UV light. Now, washing their hands is pretty important if you run a chemistry lab. You don't want any of the chemical residues left over, and also if you do some dissections, you don't want any formaldehyde, or maybe if you're doing like chicken wings, you don't want the salmonella left over. So this shows them why it's so important to wash their hands.